No, oh, that's me. John, I need to mute myself. Well, we can just start right now. We can introduce ourselves and say thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Spencer, for being here at our last town hall. Thank you, Michaela, for being here as well. My name is Alex Miranda. I'm the president of student government, and Nick can introduce himself.
My name is Nick Thomasman. I'm the communications director.
Actually, if you wanted to.
Hi, Ashley, advisor of Student Gov.
All right. And Spencer, if you
Yeah.
wanted to introduce yourself.
My name's Spencer. I'm founder and president of Arts Club.
Sandra.
I'm Sandra, I'm president of the GCU Geography Academy.
I'm Michaela. I'm the president of the Geology Club, the Student Geology Club. My vice president wanted to be here today, but she's hosting or co-hosting an event.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
Ashpreet's on the line.
Oh yeah, thank you, Ashpreet, for being here as well. If you wanted to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ashpreet. I'm the president of the International Language Club.
Well, thank you for being here. It's our very last town hall. I know it's finals week, so other people are occupied by that, but thank you. Especially Spencer, you've been an OG here. Like, I think you've been here for every town hall.
Except for one, but I was sick.
Basically every. But we can just start with an icebreaker. Our first question is, what are your plans for break? We can start with Spencer and then go.
Honestly, I'm gonna be working a lot. Like, I have a security job, so like I took up a bunch of like day and night shifts. So I'm pretty much gonna be like sleeping there, like working there, but it's yeah, that's gonna be my break.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you actually get a break. But
I'm sure I will. I mean, like, it's not gonna be every day, but like it's gonna be a lot of days.
No, I get that. Well, good luck to that.
Thank you.
Sandra.
I'm gonna be taking an accelerated virtual class through Aquinas that starts on Monday and ends January 12th or something, so I'll be doing that.
That's really accelerated.
Yes, seems like at least you two aren't getting a full break. I hope you guys enjoy your break.
I'll definitely take some me time, but like, yeah.
Michaela, what are your plans for break?
Break. Doing absolutely nothing as much as possible.
Yay!
That's good.
Jealous.
Yeah.
I haven't decided. Time, nature, time. Yeah, I'm gonna do as much nothing as I can as well. Just
Nice
rest and read. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to catch up on a lot of albums, like just streaming albums and albums. Recently, I've been getting to more Bjork, so yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
That's like the Norwegian pop
Yeah,
artist, right?
that's
Icelandic.
Oh, Icelandic,
Yeah.
okay.
Like she's
Gotcha.
very avant-garde.
Yeah, no, it isn't didn't she do Electric Love? Or was that a different, no, that was Björn.
Maybe, yeah, with an M.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of neat.
okay,
This is Bjork with a K.
okay, gotcha.
Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, you might be right,
Oh,
yeah.
Warren's. Yeah.
Check cities from Grand Haven.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, with the slash in the middle.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm a musician and I am finishing up an album, 8 or 9 songs. We should be mixing and hopefully maybe even mastering over the break.
Nice.
The process takes some time, so
What do you play?
I'm a singer-songwriter. I play guitar, sing, and yeah, and then also I am reorganizing a nonprofit organization, and I figure while I don't have classes, that's a good time to dig into that work.
that's awesome.
Nice.
What kind of nonprofit?
It's called the Michigan Music Alliance, and we provide networking and professional development opportunities to the Michigan music community.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Ashpreet, if you wanted to share what you plan on doing for break.
We're taking a road trip down to Las Vegas and we'll be stopping along like Colorado and a bunch of places like uh Grand Canyon. My uncle's here from India, so we're taking him on a road trip.
Oh, nice.
Impressive.
Yeah. If you wanted to start us off for our second question as well, how would you rate the semester from 1 to 10?
Um, one being the worst or one being the best?
Yeah, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best.
Um, I guess like a 3 or 4. I've been really busy with like classes, volunteering. My mom started working too, so I was home the most, so I had to take care of the home as well, I guess. So yeah.
No, I get that. I think I would probably rate it like a 5.5, 6. Just similar reasons, a lot of responsibilities, but you know, hopefully next semester's better. Nick, if you wanted to.
I'm conflicted right now. I've had some not great experiences to wrap up my semester. But I also got my first A plus.
Yeah.
Nice.
Life,
That's
2 of
awesome.
them.
That's awesome.
So, I don't know, 7 or 8.
Cool.
And 10 is the good.
Yeah, 10 is the best you can get. Spencer.
I'd probably give it like an 8 or 9. Like, it's been really challenging. Like that's like, I don't want to downplay that, but like, I don't know, it's been very fulfilling too. Like, just, I feel like I've gotten a lot done this semester. And I'm looking forward to next semester too, because I'm anticipating it's gonna be easier a little bit. But yeah, for me, it was very fulfilling.
Yeah, your club has definitely made its mark this semester. A lot of events. So, yeah. Congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
Sandra?
I'd probably rate it a 5 or a 6. I'm kind of in the same boat as Ashpreet. I've got domestic responsibilities while I'm trying to do schoolwork and I'm working part-time. So that's put a hamper on things, but I did do very well at the last conference in November. I did the best in fact. So that was a good thing. It balanced it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I relate to that. So a slight fall for a larger comeback. So we'll get there next semester.
Yeah.
Michaela?
I'd say like an 8 because it's been extremely challenging. I've had my most 2 difficult classes ever. But I really want to like go into chemistry now because of how difficult it was and how much I enjoyed it at the same time. So most challenging, most enriching, really good tonight. Oh, I like that.
You're president now. Congrats to that. Ashley, I know you're not a student, but
I think I'm hanging at a 6. It's like, there are things that I wanted to realize that I wasn't able to, just likely because we've been down a director. But it's still been good, right? Like I'm not. Yeah, hanging out at 6.
yeah, cool. And it was Ashley's birthday last week, so we could all say happy birthday, Ashley.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Woo woo.
I hope you enjoyed it. You really
It was,
deserve it.
yeah, it was great.
But, but for our last question, is your club planning anything for next semester? Ashpreet, if you wanted to start again.
Yes, so International Language Club does a annual cultural fest that represents 10 countries and we talk about we have booths decorated and everything and we're gonna do that again this year.
Yeah, we're all excited for that. I remember last year was a hit, so yeah. I see Kim, you joined us. If you wanted to introduce yourself and then let us know if your club is planning anything for next semester.
Hello. I'm Kim. I'm with PTK. I'm the president of our work there. It's been just a follow-up to your other question too. It's been very, very busy. So sorry I'm late. I'm just juggling from one thing to another. Little background about me is I work 50, 60 hours a week. And I take classes, as well as I'm the Michigan Regional Officer, as well as the president there at GRCC for PTK. So my book of things to do is very busy. So, but glad to wrap this up. We are for the next semester, we're in a little bit of transition. So that is to be determined yet. Normally, right after the fall semester, we don't really have anything right away, although we do have our leadership conferences in April and a regional conference in March. So those are coming up. Activities, I can't say right now. That's just to be determined. Hopefully we can do something though.
Yeah, yeah, well, keep us updated, and thank you for being here at our last town hall.
Yes, I'm glad I made it. I was rushing. So I apologize for being late.
Fine. Spencer, if you want.
So from what I can say right now, because we're still in the planning stages of a lot of stuff, but like one thing that we have floated is we want to do, we're probably going to tone it down with like the parties next semester.
Yeah,
But we're thinking like a murder mystery day would be fun, like, you know, kind of like just like an event for that. So that's like in terms of larger events, that's what we've planned so far. But it's probably gonna be a lot of like smaller events, like art related events. And especially like getting more art up around the school. So it's gonna be a lot of art days and then potentially a murder mystery thing, so.
do you have any idea of when the murder mystery would be around?
We're probably gonna plan it a couple months in advance, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like March.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds fun. I don't think I've been to a murder mystery before.
I've never hosted one before, so it'll be interesting, but you know, we're gonna come up with like a story and everything and like get people who wanna participate, give them roles, so it'll be fun.
Cool. Okay, well, same to you. Keep us updated.
Yeah, for sure.
Sandra?
Well, our big thing that we're planning is the conference next spring. But as I just sort of assumed this role, as president of the GTU. And so we're trying to reach out to other clubs with similar interests, because I think a lot of people think physical geography when they think of geography, and they don't realize that there's a human and cultural element to it, and that is sort of far reaching. And so we want to connect with other clubs like Nice Rocks and I think Sackness. That's the, oh, okay. Okay. To other clubs like that, to maybe plan some combined events to help highlight that these clubs exist and boost student participation, as well as maybe combine field trips. So the wheels have started turning in my brain about that. Nothing is on the calendar, so.
Nice. Well, thanks for letting us know. And we have two members here, or one is Sackness and one is Nice Rocks.
And I actually, when we have time, like at the end, I have something that pertains exactly to that kind of topic, so.
Yeah, for sure. We have a time for public comment somewhere in the agenda.
Yeah, it's like at the end, I think, but like,
I think,
I did get your email,
okay.
yeah,
Cool,
and I
cool.
responded.
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to respond until last night because I've been just swamped with final stuff, but.
Shirlita, if you wanted to introduce yourself and maybe share anything your club is planning to do next semester.
Okay, yeah, so my name is Shirlita Hernandez, and I am the secretary of SACNAS, which is a good group, geared towards supporting students within the STEM field, but we also include anyone that's interested. A couple of things that we have, been wanting to, I guess, kind of host and bring as an organization is like more general meetings, because we found that we have been lacking. And then just events overall. We're thinking about hosting fundraisers, because we do still want to plan on bringing Sacna students for the next semester, like the fall semester, to the conference that we went to for Portland, Oregon. So we're thinking about a lot of fundraising, and then on top of that, we're thinking about collaborating with other groups and organizations here. Just as, you know, everyone has mentioned, I actually was talking to Laura from the Yoga Club, and we were thinking about hosting a like shared yoga session where we can learn about how meditation is good, like the science kind of related way of yoga, but then also have that session. So we were thinking about that and just kind of collaborating with other groups so that we can, you know, bring in a community and just show that we want to do stuff and have fun and, you know, learn in the way, like along the way. So,
And the next conference is in Colorado or Arizona?
I'm not sure. I think it's in Arizona. I don't, yeah, but we have to.
I was thinking.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And thank you for being an OG at our town halls as well. You've been here since the beginning,
Yeah.
Spencer and you, but thank you. If you wanted to introduce yourself and, maybe rate your semester from 1 through 10.
I'm Jessica. I have no idea what this is about. I'm here. I'm a first year student. And yeah. That's it. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I met you a couple, maybe like an hour ago, but
Yeah.
thank you for coming. I told you about this like an hour ago.
Yeah, she dragged me here. I didn't have to.
You're welcome. Rebecca, if you want to.
Yeah, for those who don't know me, I work in student life. I'm the student resources coordinator. Yeah, just coming to check out. Been asked by a couple people to join in, so
How
check
would,
it out.
how would you rate your semester from 1 to 10?
Oh. Rating on like a what sort of scale, like 10 best?
Yeah,
and
10
like,
best, 1 worst.
oh. I wanna say like 10, but like everything feels like it's flying by the seat of my pants, so,
Yeah.
but we're doing good.
Yeah.
We're getting through it.
No, thank you for helping out in the food pantry as well. That's
Yeah.
a big help for everyone on campus.
Of course.
Yeah. Michaela?
Oh, plans for next week.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the one thing we know is in the books is we're working with faculty to plan a gypsum mines tour for the club. For those of you who don't know, the geology here in this region in Michigan is there are gypsum mines all underneath Grand Rapids. So we're gonna try and get a little tour. They used to do tours, like public tours down there, but they don't much anymore. It's very selective, so, yeah, very excited about that. But yeah, we're just gonna try and do more, field trips, I think. We had originally wanted to go to Ann Arbor, to see their natural history museum, but we saw that needed more work, so we may figure that out for next semester. And definitely more fundraising events. We did have a fundraising event on Friday, and that we broke even, and did have a little bit of profit. So,
Nice.
I mean, all things considered, it was really good for, you know, end of semester, not many people around. So, yeah, we'll continue to do fundraising as well. The general meetings, they'll definitely be more, there's gonna be more variation because we've been only doing 12 to 1 every other Friday for, in terms of schedule for this semester. So we're gonna try and bring more variation to the general meeting times so more people can be involved.
Nice, nice. Ashley, from a student life perspective, at least, does student life have anything planned for next semester?
Yeah, we're planning a lot of things. I'll just mention what Winter Welcome Week is probably the first to hit, which is the second week of January. So I have a host of events there, and then just throughout the semester, like bi-weekly or monthly events varying from like Rebecca's work to my work, Alyssa's work, or like what clubs put on. So tons in the works. Everything will be posted on Raider Connect as soon as we have graphics. So more to come.
Nice. As for student government, so we don't really plan events as per se, but I guess our main events are our town halls, our meetings with Dr. Lepper, our meetings with faculty in general. for Winter Welcome Week, though, we do plan on having like a winter meal for one of our town halls that falls during Winter Welcome Week. We also plan on hosting a tabling event at the Lakeshore campus. As well as doing our first Lakeshore Town Hall in February. So those are some that come to mind right now. But yeah, I mean, thank you all for being here. Like I said, again, it's our last town hall. So I really appreciate you guys being here. We can move on to GRCC updates. I'll just name a couple we have right now. So student government, our last newsletter of the semester sent out. It's just an update on what's happening on campus, what we're working on, events that are coming soon, etc. But I did want to ask you guys, did you guys receive that newsletter in your email? I know it was sent out since I received it, but as
Friday morning?
ish. Ashley, do you remember what time it was sent out? I think I
Remember
received
much.
it like Wednesday or Thursday.
I remember getting it. I don't remember what day, but I remember getting it.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like not everybody's getting it, so we're trying to like, maybe catch like a theme with that and dig into it.
Just to be clear, did anybody not get it?
I don't think I did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll continue to work on that, but yeah, we have that sent out. Our next update is, like Ashley mentioned, before, we did have a vacancy in the student life director role. But as of recently, we have that filled with Valerie Butterfield. She's the new director of student life, taking the place that was once Lina Blair's. And Valerie starts on January 14th, 2024. So. Yeah,
So Ashley will have a ball.
yeah,
Rebecca will have a ball.
more help in the student life area, hopefully, but
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't like, nobody in this room other than you two feels the immediate effects of that. Like, it's not gonna be a drastic change for what happens here and for clubs and stuff like that. But what it does mean is that our advisors have an advisor. And so there can be more direction, and also there can be definitive answers to things that we don't necessarily have the authority to make decisions on. Now we have a person that can go to, that's higher up in administration that's working with us. And I know from talking to Valerie that one of her goals is individual student involvement. So if you have not met Valerie before, she works here at GRCC for the last 7 years in the registrar's office. And she wants to get to know clubs and the students that are involved in it. So hopefully you'll get a chance to meet her next semester.
yeah. And our last portion of this, we just wanted to highlight the events that are being hosted on campus soon. So we have a free yoga class by the yoga club tomorrow at 4 p.m. And we have the Kent Philharmonic concert this Friday at 7:30 p.m. We have a Rotaract Club and Student Life pop-up, free clothes shop next Tuesday at 10 a.m. A men's basketball game at Ford Fieldhouse, this Thursday and Saturday. And I think that's Monday, next Monday. And lastly, we have women's basketball on Saturday at 1 p.m.
Is that also at the Ford Fieldhouse?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, that's the updates we have here at GRCC. And Nick, you can take over for the treasurer's report.
Sure, the current balance is $14,763.71. I believe. And when I say I believe, it is because I'm not the treasurer. Believe that we have the treasurer position filled. Our treasurer would start next semester, and that will be one main component of their job, is staying on top of the budgets. And one of the things that I would like to bring up right now is the importance of correctly asking for what you need. Because as I found out, the way that the system works is if you ask for $900 and then spend $500, there's $400 of allocated funds that are not available to the rest of the clubs until the next year when the budget rolls over. So as we move into the next semester, the importance of asking for the correct amounts is gonna be paramount. Just so that's clear. With that said, we have 3 allocation requests today. We talked quite a bit last week about the Gamma Theta Upsilon International Geographic Honor Society's trip to Hawaii. But for those of us that were not here and were not able to watch the replay or hear anything about it, would you like to tell us about that?
I would, and I actually have prepared our tentative itinerary as well as our estimated costs and frequently asked questions.
Thank you.
Yay. For those of you who weren't here last week and for those of you who were, it doesn't matter. I had to apologize because I was not at all prepared for the meeting. It was just kind of like, hey, can you show up and do this? Because I had not done this before. And so it kind of caught me off guard, and I was under the impression that the majority of people attending the meeting had read through the full 6 pages of our request and were aware of the details of it. And that was evident. It was also very evident that our group was completely unaware of the budget that we were working with. All I knew is that student government, student life had supported us before, and so we were coming again with a request. So a little bit about the GTU. It's an international honor society for geography students. Currently, there are 2 active members in the GRCC chapter, but the GTU advisor would like to relax the requirements to boost membership. One of the membership requirements is that they need so many geography credits, and that's hard to accumulate that soon enough to get more members in the club. So we're looking to relax that and offering conditional membership so more students can participate. This club is specifically for students who conduct and share research. Conferences are the cornerstone to this, as they are the forum in which that research is then presented. It's kind of like practicing for a wrestling match and then going to compete. The conferences are our competition as well as and something where we can learn. The GTU prepares students for postgraduate studies and eventual careers. It's not just a hobby club. We're not just, going out there and doing things just for fun. It's fun because we're passionate about what we do, but it's also for the benefit of the students and for the community. The annual AAG conference is an international competition. Not only do we meet important people in this field of study and gain valuable insight that will help further educational goals, but we compete with the top geographers and geography students in the US, and GRCC students win. One of the questions that was asked previously was, why don't we just wait until 2025 when the conference is being held in Detroit? I fully expect to attend the conference in Detroit, but I will no longer be at GRCC in 2025. Although I will very much still be involved in the GTU. And to answer that question, look on my list here. Why not wait? Imagine if you were to tell an athlete to wait a year for their competition, to be able to do the thing that they have been training to do. It's important that GRCC maintains a consistent image at these conferences because we are known for it. Will things go south if I don't attend? No, they won't, but there will be a lag in that training. So the faculty member who will be accompanying us is the recipient of the Presidential Achievement Award by the AAG for 2023, Dr. Mike DeVivo. Under his careful instruction and guidance, his students continue to be recognized for their achievements year after year. boosting GRCC's image on a national level. I did sit down with Sheena last week and we looked over travel details. We have come up with a revised allocation request. This request removes funding for meals, which will be covered by the students attending, as well as the registration fee and associated field trips. It's our hope that this funding request be seriously considered as we are prepared to uphold GRCC's reputation on the national front and put another notch in the nationally renowned geography department here at CC. I did hand you the frequently asked questions, and I apologize for the length of this, but I want to make sure that everybody completely understands why we are asking for such a big portion of the funding. One question that was asked last meeting was, how can we request so much? It seems selfish. And this particular question really harpooned the fabric of my being, because selfish is not a word that I would use to describe me. But seeing the amount requested versus the amount remaining, I understand why the question was posed as such. How can we request such a large percentage? And while it may be difficult to see past the palm trees of Hawaii, this is an investment that will return to the student body many times over, as it has with my predecessors. After the last meeting, I looked through the meeting minutes. I studied the funding and allocation requests. I became familiar with some of the other clubs on campus. I reached out to some of the other clubs when I feel that the GTO shares common interest. And I came to the conclusion that the student government needs a treasurer, which it sounds like you got one.
Sure,
I might have one.
maybe next semester, yeah.
Need more women. And we need more money generally to support these groups like Nice Rocks and Sadness. These clubs that represent underrepresented populations, especially in the field of STEM. And the GTU is one of those. As GTU members, we don't represent ourselves. We represent the entire student body at conferences, and we engage with professionals from whom we can learn and apply their knowledge here at GRCC and within the community. I am not a great traveler. I don't necessarily want to be gone for a full week. I would prefer to attend a conference right here at home. But for the first time ever, the Indigenous people of Hawaii are hosting. That means they actually get to attend the AAG conference for the first time ever. And GRCC's attendance shows support for them, support for that. And as well as it facilitates learning about their groups. And if Student Life is able to consider this request, Annika and I would be prepared to present what we've learned to any interested parties, highlighting both the opportunities available in the field of geography, as well as to the other clubs themselves. And it's something that I would encourage all clubs to do. When you have field trips and events, really find an opportunity to present them to the student body so they can see, hey, look at what we do. And maybe you do that. I was unaware if you do, but I highly encourage it just to raise awareness, because there are some really great clubs here on campus. A good example of the work done by GTU students is the work done by April Shirey and Stacy Murphy. Their research into food insecurity on campus revealed the underutilization of the food pantry. Their findings were used to kick the food pantry into high gear, which is now administered by Rebecca Lovers, who I believe another GTU alum. With that said, does anybody have any questions?
I have a question for student gov. For the current balance, how long is that current balance supposed to last for?
So next fall.
Okay, so this is for this upcoming semester as well as the summer semester.
That's correct.
So I will say this looks a lot better than last time. One thing, because like I know we talked about in the last meeting that like you were going to consider other fundraising options or other potential options to like raise money. Have you done so? And like, if so,
Yes, we are now launched our CamFed fundraiser that begins on Tuesday. It's selling 2024 calendars. Now typically the CamFed funds go to, Campaign for Education of Women. Typically those have gone to help support high school girls in Africa. Now legally, our group is allowed to use funds for GTU members. It's something we would prefer not to do. That is our current fundraiser. Also the travel grants and student awards at other conferences. That's also a form of fundraising. It's not as flashy because we're not asking people for money. We're competing in like paper competitions to get funds. One of the questions that was asked was why didn't we start fundraising sooner? We didn't even know what the location of the AAG conference was until July. And then we have to submit an abstract, which means we have to have conducted research prior to that time. And so on the timeline of things, it was in October that we started preparing abstracts for submission, as well as applying for those travel grants and awards, which would be kind of like fundraising, which we've raised $1,000 since that time. But typically it's not like we can fundraise a lot in advance, but I know that from the example of SACNAS is that they know there's a conference coming up and want to attend. And I think that's something that the GTU can do in the future, is plan for these conferences ahead of time and know, well, if we want to attend every year, we might as well start fundraising right away.
So you raised $1,000 since July, you said, or?
Since, yes.
Okay, so it's not necessarily something that like you can do on a super expedited basis, like,
No, not
Okay.
with our current fundraisers, because like the calendars, that's a 2024 fundraiser. We don't even have the calendars until tomorrow.
right? And you said that's for like a different thing altogether? or,
Well,
like-
it's typically that fundraiser is done for CamFed, which is, the GTU supports CamFed. They raise funds and then they give that money to CamFed. But because the GTU is fundraising for it, we can use those funds however we want. Usually we donate them to CamFed.
Okay,
So we would like to continue donating to CamFed and not have to use those funds if at all possible, but we'll do what we have to do.
Do you think? Well, first, let me ask, what would be the final deadline to have everything set, and like you'll need the money by what day?
Well, the recalculated costs, we are asking for basically our hotel and our airfare to be covered. And the airfare is only going to get higher as time goes on. So we're hoping for resolution to this as soon as possible. But I know I talked with Sheena about this, and you guys work with your own travel agent and stuff, but for discounts and stuff, we have so many dates. I believe February 2nd was the deadline for discount on airfare. But that airfare discount is 10% off of the rate, so it's not a set price, and if the price keeps going up, it's not like we're guaranteeing an awesome price, even at 10% off.
So realistically, the $7,115 mark is the lowest it'll probably be. Like,
Yes, for the airfare and hotel, I think there's airport transportation like in there also.
And it's still possible that like the vendor we use, like with the package that we have with our travel agents, that the cost could be even lower than that 10% discount.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, you're good. How many people total are going on the trip?
There are two of us. who are going.
Two.
Yeah.
I do have a question as well. So what is the calculation if you guys chose to attend virtually?
To do the virtual
If
presentation?
you did the virtual presentations, because if we're looking at, I know there's potential for more fundraising, but if you're saying that this is a minimum to guarantee being go, right now we are looking about 50% of the remaining funds for the entire year.
Yeah.
To cover it. So I'm curious what that cost comparison is, if it had to be, if that is what it came down to, is if it had to be virtual.
You should have seen our request last time. No, well, obviously the virtual presentation would be substantially cheaper because there's no airfare, there's no hotel, so it would cost student like $0.
Maybe like food.
Conference registration though, there's still a fee for registration.
The conference registration would already be covered because of a travel grant that I was awarded. So the registration is covered, right? It's certainly a possibility. And while it gives us the opportunity to present our research, it sort of negates the ability to sit in on some of these sessions and experience the cultural aspect as well as the physical geography, being in a completely different location. And it really hampers our ability to network and get that experience.
Does the virtual audience have any questions, comments, concerns?
So what I gather is that the amount is 7,000 and it was higher last time.
Yeah,
How much difference was it from the first time till now?
Like, yeah, actually, I think it's like 7,000 even, so like it's,
I think the original allocation request was like 14,000.
It was 13,875.
Oh,
okay, yeah, so it's 6,000. I thought it was 14,000.
So
We.
Yep.
Oh,
how,
we
go ahead.
recalculated it by, taking out the meal costs. Instead of having 2 rooms, Annika and I would be sharing a room. Airport parking was taken out, the conference field trip and registration were taken out. So we're now asking for funds that would cover just airfare and lodging, and the airport transportation.
Well, that is a huge difference there. So that's good on that part. But to someone's point, and I'm not sure who it was, indicated about the 50% of funds available until next fall. I think that's a huge amount to be allocated for 2 people to take 50% of the remaining until next fall. Is there any way that, possible that you could get some money in other areas or another way? I know you're talking about short term, but I'm just thinking, have you had like a brainstorming session on, what you could do?
Yeah, we have, but because we removed the meal cost from the the initial estimate, all of our brainstorming is now trying to figure out how we're going to feed ourselves on conference, or during the conference, I should say. If I may pose a question to the group, is there an amount that you would feel comfortable? Because I know Sackness had asked for a similar amount for 4 students to attend the conference, and their request was initially denied. But there was a revote on a reduced amount. So is there a lesser amount that people would feel comfortable sending students to a conference that is pretty much the point of the club, is to attend these conferences?
What would be a realistic reduction that we could give you and you could fundraise would you be able to fundraise maybe like $2,000 and by that time, or?
I think that would be reasonable.
I'm inclined to vote yes for this because I had personal experience. This summer, I was a part of an internship and I had the opportunity to go to 2 different conferences, one in October and one in December. And I didn't attend either of them because of travel costs. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. And I wouldn't want you to miss out on that opportunity.
I agree. I was gonna mention before when you added about the networking. I found that while I was not awarded my, I guess, scholarship, you call it, through student government, I went through TRIO, which is a completely different funding process. When I went there, I met a lot of people. I even got like many job offers, and I got to talk to this guy from the DoD, and he like told me about how I could get all of my schooling paid. And you know, you just never know who you're gonna meet and who you're gonna run into these conferences, because the point about going to them is to find help for your future and for your career. So I'm also kind of about that.
I'd second that too. I mean, especially because like this is a significant reduction in like the original allocation request. Plus, like you said, the airfares are only going to increase, especially as you get closer to the deadline. So realistically, this might actually be the lowest it could get.
We'll put this to
So-
To TRIO about this, since you brought up TRIO as an option for.
Well, the
travel.
thing is, you have to, it's not for clubs, it's mostly for students that have to require specific, not everyone can be in TRIO, but it's also not.
I think it's for mostly underrepresented.
It's for people, it's for students that have disabilities, low income, and first gen college students. So there's a.
What about the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion? Because as I recall, they sent 11 people to the SACMAS conference.
Yeah,
Did you discuss this opportunity with them at all?
I have not, like, didn't even realize that was an option. I know that the GTU has collaborated with them before to get in, you know, speakers and stuff. That's one of the things that the GTU does, is it represents GRCC and it says, hey, look how great we are. You want to come talk at our at our school, and they have collaborated with the club that you just mentioned.
The
Sorry.
Office of Diversity,
Yes.
Equity, and Inclusion. Yes.
Got a lot of it.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, I work with them and have asked, you know, been asked by them about more involvement in the office. And I asked that same question to SACMAS when they requested their amount, which is how we found out that they were already sending 11 students to that conference. So there are more avenues to explore in terms of finances.
Yeah.
When I was in the GRCC College Choir, we took a trip to Carnegie Hall. And I had to submit a recipe and then sell cookbooks, which was not fun, but
Wow.
it was how we paid for the trip.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know if we would qualify to approach TRIO, or
I don't think it wouldn't hurt to go up and talk to them about it, and you know, just make it known that you're a club and you're trying to get out there and go visit these conferences, because it's really important to go.
yeah.
I see the value of the conferences as well. But I will also say that I voted no on the SACMAS one for the same reason, that it was a large request. The original request was $7,000.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's a large amount to be taking out of the campus activities.
Is there, just
Mhm.
out of curiosity, is there any way to get more money into the campus activities? Because there's a lot of clubs.
The
on
student
campus.
government is actually working with the student success department to see if there's a possibility of increasing or at least evening out the campus activities fee. Currently, it's set at $5 for part-time students and $10 for
Right.
full-time students. That has not been addressed or changed since 2009.
Mhm.
So there is a possibility that we could get more money based on the campus activities fee, but there's not any possibility of that happening this semester.
And to speak to what you had said about clubs being better at estimating their costs, I did notice that there were a few clubs out there with hundreds, in some cases over $1,000 of allocated requests just sitting there, allocated funds just sitting there, so that's definitely something that.
Agreed. Agreed.
So
That's-
Alex, was your suggestion to lower it to 5,000, giving that $2,000 of being potentially
Fundraise.
fundraised? Was that your suggestion?
Yeah, I brought that up as like a possibility. I mean, obviously I want to do whatever is realistic to, GTU, since, I mean, we can give you $5,000, but if you realistically can't fundraise $2,000 in that meantime, then,
Yeah,
I mean, there's no point. So, I mean,
well, like I said, we have kicked off our fundraising efforts, but without calculating or without adding meals into it, now we're
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to cover our meal costs.
mhm.
When is
and
the trip? What date?
It's April 15th.
Okay.
So we've
So
got
4
about 4,
months.
and I figured that the meals would be the most variable, and so without asking for a whole bunch of money and then having a whole bunch left over, because maybe meals were a lot cheaper, we thought it would be easier just to remove meals from the equation so that it's not such a variable. There, we have estimated airfare and hotel costs based on what we can see from, plugging in the numbers online, so.
Yeah, food's a huge variable too. You just don't know what that's gonna be, I mean, I don't eat a lot personally, so I skip breakfast and lunch sometimes. So for me, I'd be a cheap foodie, but, but other people do eat, regularly and hard telling what those prices are over there. They're probably pretty high potentially.
I did reach out to the AAG to get a better sense of what vendors would be, on
Prices.
in the area, and they are trying to actually provide food for students because they want to boost the undergraduate representation. So they're trying to make it as cheap as they can for the students who are going over there. So we're hoping to keep our food
Yeah.
costs low, but we don't know. So we just removed
Right.
that from the equation.
I think we're all on the same accord that we want to be able to send you guys to this conference so that
Mhm.
you guys experience it, and for GRCC pride and GRCC representation around the nation. But the only downfall is the price, as I think Rebecca, you mentioned it's 50% of our entire budget for next semester and for the summer semester. So just on a very early estimate, but what do you think would be like the final amount that you could go to, and the rest could be fundraised? Since, yeah, I just really want to look out for the other clubs,
Oh, I
and
understand that.
I don't want the notion to be that you're being selfish, like you've heard previously. Since I don't think you're being selfish at all, since, I mean, you have the right to go to this trip as well as every other club, but yeah, a final number that you think would be realistic.
I think based on the estimates that we were working through earlier, with like potential fundraisers and stuff like that, I think that the lowest that we could reasonably request and be able to, fund ourselves would probably be in the ballpark of 5,750. Just coming, and then just because I know what the numbers are from before and what Annika and I said that we would be able to pay out of pocket if fundraising, if we weren't able to fundraise. again, it's not a huge amount because we have families and stuff, so we don't have
Mhm.
a lot of extra going around, but, that would be probably the bare minimum that we could get away with.
I have an additional question, so. Because I'm not super familiar with how the campus budget works. Once it's allocated, say we allocated a certain amount and then they did exceed those funding goals. Now, I know that money tends to sit in the account until it goes over. Could they request to have it withdrawn from their account if we choose to play on a safer end? To put it back into the budget for this year if it's not needed.
Yeah, you would be able to redistribute those funds to the main.
So it's as long
We
as
could
the
do
club
that.
comes forward and says, hey, we have access in our account, we want to push it back.
Theoretically.
So that would,
He would actually have to verify that with Sheena,
yeah,
but I don't see why not.
well, it sounds like everybody should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if all the.
And
books
also,
Needs and.
Yeah.
Filled out the paperwork and did the budget training and all the things that
Yeah.
they're supposed to do.
Well, why not do that? It should be.
It is mandatory.
Before you get any funding or anything.
yeah, I saw that too. That's a good idea. And also, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, the one that's requesting the funds.
My name is Sandra.
Sandra, okay, great. Sandra, I would love to help fundraise. I will help if you need any help. I'm a great resource for fundraising in the community, in my work world. I do it all the time. So if you need any help, I'm offering my help and my services, just throwing it out there.
That would be great.
So we do have to wrap up the discussion shortly, since we do have to move on at around 1:10. But are there any final comments before we go to a vote? And before we go to a vote, is the 5,750 mark the amount you want us to vote on, or do you want to do the full amount?
The way that this works is that the budget allocation request is for $7,115. If it doesn't pass, you can resubmit another budget allocation.
Like go through all the same steps again.
Unfortunately, that is the process, and this has already come up once this semester.
So before we vote, if I say, well, because time is ticking,
Mhm.
if we want to do this before the prices go up, if we ask for the 7,000 and we are below budget on that and we return the money to the student government, can we put that condition on it for the people who are voting?
Nick, didn't you say that it sits in the account and that you can't touch it?
That's what Sheena told us, is that once the money is allocated, it is allocated until the funds roll over the next year.
Okay, so
Hey,
that
we
wouldn't
might-
be an option then.
That you unallocate the funds, that might be different, but that's not like a thing that happens with
I
funds.
did notice back in September though, when Zachness
Yeah, that's
administered theirs,
correct.
there was an
And
immediate
after that, we
revote.
decided that we are not gonna do that anymore. That is an unfair system.
I think though, we can make an exception, since this is our
I
last
just
town
agree
hall,
with that.
and our next town hall would be in January. It's, I think, a month out, and like you said, the prices will be raising,
Yes,
so.
I think that we went through a whole training on like Robert's Rule of Order and how to run these meetings.
Yeah, we did, but I do think that in this case, like you said, it is very time sensitive. And that it's very important to get this out, and like, the air prices rise by the minute, so.
We also know that we have a traffic agent that works with it.
Well, just remember, if we do that, then you're setting precedents for all the others that come after to do that.
I think we've changed the precedent. And we've learned from it. An example is, what we've experienced with Nice Rocks, in which, there's a precedent in which you have to be here to be acknowledged and to be heard for allocation requests. And we saw that precedent wasn't very fair, at least. So the requirement of you having to be here to be heard, we've changed that to, you just have to be active on campus. So I think you can change the precedent if it overall helps the GRCC community. Yeah.
I do have a question about that. So like, is there a procedure for that? Like, how does that work? And like, what exactly, or what kind of precedent are we setting? Like, are we saying that like student organizations can themselves like put funds back into the budget? Or are we saying that student government can recall those funds themselves?
Yeah,
Is that like, I'm confused about what condition we're putting on these funds.
for right now.
Yeah, I think this is getting muddy. I think we should vote with the funding that is presented. Otherwise, this is too much else
Okay.
in writing or not in writing, and it's gray, and I think this is what
Right.
we're gonna. I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
just like, it sounds like there's enough like disagreement, but agreement. And to be consistent, I think we should act out of consistency and just
Yeah.
vote with what's on the table.
Yeah, and when, we don't even know the final vote yet, so we can see.
And a final question for you, the deadlines we're talking about is primarily due to airfare and lodging costs, is that correct?
Yes, we have already registered for the conference.
Okay, so you're not worrying about the deadlines for when registration is, it's about confirming airlines and airfare.
And yeah,
Alright, well, with that being said, we can call the $7,115 allocation request to a vote. Can start with Spencer and go around the table. Michaela is out, but maybe when she comes back, she can say her vote, but Spencer,
I'm gonna vote to approve it.
and you'd vote to approve it as well.
Yeah.
Shirley,
Do I vote?
yeah,
You're student.
I vote no. Don't hate me.
you're fine. Our virtual audience, Ashbury and Kim.
I was hoping to approve the lesser amount, and not, the amount as it stands. So the 7,000 when it could go down to the 57. So on the 7,000, I would turn that down only because of the conditionals that, we're talking about and setting precedents and all of that. So as it stands, it would be a no, but, I was ready to go with a yes with a lower amount with, funding. So no at the 7, since it's half of what's there, thinking of, the conversation that we've had about groups. So, it's a no at the amount as it stands, but good conversation.
Thank you. Ashbury,
I would approve it.
I'm gonna vote no.
well, I think that's it's more than, majority yes vote, so
4 yes and 3 no.
Unless we're still waiting on Michaela.
Michaela,
We did hear her support.
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I know not in this instance, but I think we could honor, I mean, if this is majority
Yeah, it's
and she was
4-3 right now.
leaning to approve.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
No, they're not voting.
But yeah, Michaela did show her support, so it's still 4-3 anyway, but with that being said, the motion is approved. Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
I will take into advisement, Kim's offer to help us fundraise and reaching out to Trio and the office of.
So on the schedule appointment to chat and then recently.
Yes.
Well, congratulations, and I know you came very prepared. I give you kudos to that. Yeah, I hope this semester treats you well, and next semester treats you well, and we hope to keep seeing you at our student government town halls.
Yes, now that I know they exist.
Yeah, and I know you have to go, right?
Yeah, I'm tutoring, I teach people in geography,
Yeah, you're fine, but thank you for coming.
but I will see you all in the new year and hope you had a pleasant holiday, and I would like to.
Thank you, you too.
Have a good holiday.
Happy holidays.
Okay, so our next allocation request comes from the Rotor Act Club of Grand Rapids Community College. It was requesting $100 for a 2-day pop-up free clothes shop. In conjunction with Rebecca, Student Life.
I will add a clarification. The funds would be used all on the second day for during the pop-up. The day prior is just their setup. So they have it on their calendar for 2 days, but the funds would be going to. I speak because I know, because I'm
Sure.
planning with them.
So it's not a 2-day event. It's
Yeah,
1 day of setup.
yeah, so
and 1
Rotaract
day.
will have, from what I understand, they're gonna open up the volunteer opportunity the day before to help plan and set up. But the day of is going to be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Does anybody have any questions?
I would vote to approve it.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't know if you made it clear what the funds were for, if that needed to be chatted about, if you're all. Good to go.
If you would like to speak on behalf of the Rotaract Club.
Okay, yeah,
They're,
Yeah, I
they're
just-
not here to,
yeah,
To
I
give
know,
us
I
a
wanna
fix,
make
so.
sure that, people understand what it's for. So when we've done these pop-up clothes shops events, we've done it in partner, kind of like with the food pantry. We really encourage our students from the food pantry to come and be a part of it. And so one of the things we do is we have snacks available. So this is a creative dining order to request that. There's additional funds to kind of help let it be a time to socialize and mingle. And the more we have that as well, we feel it's destigmatizing this idea of coming and having to request help. We want to make this as much of a social thing as much as it is a service thing.
Yeah, I like it. I would vote to approve it.
I approve.
Oh, this is a private vote, so it would just be me.
Oh,
yeah, I don't see any reason not to do this.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
The motion is approved. And
What day is that gonna be on?
So not tomorrow, Tuesday, but the following Tuesday.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
also like another push, so exams end, it's the idea of like getting students on campus and involved. It's our lab, like the food pantry is still gonna be open, so we're kind of trying to condense the day, so students can come shop for food pantry. They can come and do this swap and do it after exams are over, not have to worry about the stress of it.
Right,
So our
yeah, it doesn't
campus is
conflict
fine.
with anything that way. That makes sense.
Yeah, our office is still open and available for students to come in and be present in, and, you know, we'd love to keep it lively that last week.
Awesome.
I have a question on that, so like for the free clothes, do you, cause I know for the food pantry, you have to sign up online before, right, you go and grab food, is that the same thing with the clothes too?
Yeah, it's just a quick, we ask students just, so that it's gonna be open to students and staff, you just need to present your Rater card.
Okay.
And there is a quick liability form, just, it's basically acknowledging that you recognize that these clothes have been donated, that we have volunteers who go through certain criteria, guideline of sorting. But it's that releasing those volunteers from liability if there were holes or stains in these clothes, like it is part of your responsibility when you're selecting your clothes yourself, kind of similar to when you purchase something from a thrift shop.
Right,
So, yeah.
Mhm.
Super easy, no eligibility guidelines though. And even if you don't bring in something to donate, you're still welcome to come and take a bag of clothes home with you.
Nice.
All right, so for our final allocation request comes from the Yoga Club. They're asking for $110 for their involvement day tabling. Yoga Club is currently hosting an event, Cat Yoga, in the field house. And since they're not here, not sure
You need a breakdown on what those funds are for.
Yeah, did you see the supporting document? Okay.
Yeah, it's an involvement day tabling, requesting $105. It'll be January 17th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Yeah, it's basically a promotion event to let people know that the yoga club is at GRCC. Laura did mention that she expects 50 students to come by the tabling event. And the funds will be used for campus dining services, $30 for 2 gallons of hot chocolate, $75 for 50 granola bars, and $10 for 2 gallons of water. Yeah, that would be the breakdown of that. I personally would vote to approve it.
I'm not in favor of approving this allocation request. As previously mentioned, if they can't come to these meetings, I find it interesting that this is what they've told us, is that they can't come to these meetings, but they can have an event at the same time with a meeting. Honestly, I just don't think that this is the best use of funds for this. I mean, if every club comes and asks for money for food for involvement day, then we would run out of money on the first block party.
I also, I have a question about that too, because isn't there like a separate fund for like block party events and like, because I know, I don't know where the money is coming from, so I could just be making this up, but like, when we had like the block party material requests, it was like $75 for each club. So like, doesn't that also come from like a separate?
Activities too.
Okay, gotcha.
That's an all.
But that's, yeah. So like, I mean, this is even like significantly more than that for like, than what clubs are normally given for the block party.
Yeah, she did mention that the $75 for 50 granola bars is optional, so maybe that could be subtracted and she can resubmit it again. But yeah,
It would be too late.
Yeah, that sounds good. Or no, too late.
It would
Oh,
be
yeah.
too late if they resubmitted.
yeah, we'll have to wait
Okay.
till Monday of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, especially since it's optional, like it's not really a hard set amount then. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's too bad somebody wasn't here. We could ask questions.
yeah. I mean, on Laura's behalf, she is hosting the cat yoga and she does take Mondays. That's her only off day. So the Mondays are her off day, yet she still chooses to come at URCC when needed.
Okay.
So that's why she personally couldn't be here. So, yeah, it seems like there's a tie vote. Michael, our vice president, is usually here, but he's dealing with some external circumstances.
I can't vote. I don't, it doesn't sound like there's support.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, the motion will be denied. Spencer, do you have something to say?
Oh, I was just wondering, is there like a procedure for like when there's a tie vote or?
Michael would have had to have a designated voter in that case. But just his absence happened so fast. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might, I mean, it's not like this happens often, but that might be a good thing to like potentially put into, I don't know like what kind of rules govern this process, like, or where you get them from, but like, that might be a good thing to consider putting in for like, just in case this happens in the future.
Yeah,
I think typically we could delay like reviewing it, but with this timeline,
Yeah.
it doesn't add up, but
Right.
I hear you. And usually the team isn't short 2-3 people.
To be clear, with involvement day coming up super quickly and we want clubs to be involved, is there a different process that will be put in place for clubs that will need something, either some sort, I mean, there's funding for flyers even, like what
The
is there
college
going to
isn't,
be?
there's nothing.
Okay,
I think the college had asked for all purchase to be made this week, and this was the only thing that come forward for involvement day. And yeah, bad timing.
Our guest speaker, Rebecca Whitman, is scheduled to come. It was at around 1:10 p.m. But in the meantime, we can open to public comment. Oh, Michaela, just to update you, the allocation request was approved. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I was a little upset that I had my call right then, if you were gonna count my voter, that's excellent.
Yeah, we're fine. But yeah, any opportunity? I think Spencer, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. So I know I've sent, probably a lot of you have already like seen the email that I've sent to club, like student leaders.
Mhm.
Cause I did reach out to as many like student leaders as I possibly could. But basically, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm planning on starting a sort of association between the different student organizations on campus. I think it would be really good because like for two major reasons. Like I think we could really use just some more community here, as others here have echoed. And like I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of student leaders, like obviously I know you guys, because like you show up quite frequently to these events. I know David, because I literally have class with him, but like, you know, there's a lot of student leaders, there's a lot of student clubs that I'm not aware of, and that I'm sure a lot of other people aren't aware of. It would be really cool to just like form more of a community with student leaders, so that we can have more of like a working connection and like spread the love a little bit, get to like introduce other people's clubs, to other people in the school and to other student leaders. But also like, it would just be really cool from a collaboration standpoint, because like, one thing that I recently ran into was like my club and Laura's yoga club both had a winter holiday party at like the exact same time. And this is something obviously that like it's avoidable if we just communicate more. So like I think it would be really cool if like more of us came together, collaborated on larger events to avoid overlap like that. And that way also would provide more of a benefit to the student body, because like we would have, with larger events, you're gonna attract more people. With more clubs collaborating, you're gonna have a lot more of an appeal there, I feel like. So I guess what I'm asking is like, it's not anything like super formal necessarily. I'm just trying to like, I started a Discord group, which I sent to a bunch of different people, through email. And I think it would be really cool to just like have an extended communication circle of sorts where we collaborate, send each other our club schedules, send each other, event times. That way we can much more easily do things together and more efficiently.
Yeah.
And like one thing I was thinking about possibly is like, I don't know, we could even potentially start like a student organization specifically dedicated to this. So we have different voices coming together, maybe we have like a monthly meeting or something. That way it increases, that physical connection we otherwise won't have with Discord. And it would help facilitate those communications and organization a lot more. So yeah, I mean, like, some of you have expressed interest, which is awesome. I think this could really help just all of our clubs individually, but also just like the student body by extension. Yeah. I'd like to hear any thoughts you might have, if you have any. Cause like, this is still kind of a work in progress, but like, I think it could do a lot of good for a lot of people here on campus.
Yeah, I personally would will support that. If you could send me the Discord link, I'll definitely join.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I see your point about the, how your holiday party and Laura's holiday party both were at the same time. It's kind of like a conflict of interest. But I mean, yeah.
And that's just an example, you know, I mean, like, there's a lot of other, like, things that I think this could solve, like, for example, you know, like, Saucness, I didn't know much about this club whatsoever, like, until, I think, like, you guys told me a little bit through email, even though I see you pretty frequently here, I didn't really know what Saucness did. But I feel like if we had, like, a larger organization to, like, kind of bring our student leaders together, we could tell more students about something like that and, like, kind of help promote each other, you know, spread the word a little bit. I just think I think it would be good for all of our student organizations.
I agree too, because during the time that you guys also had your winter party over at Sadness, we're starting up, I forgot to mention earlier when I introducing people like our club. We are thinking about hosting a discovery night for each department, and last time we did it with the biology department, and that actually rolled over to the same time that you guys had your holiday party and the yoga club had their holiday party.
Yeah,
And we did have people show up, which was really nice, but it would have been better if people that were actually interested in the whole premise of the event showed up, because for us, we noticed that they were only there for the food. So I feel like if we had that mutual conversation or like communication where you can tell your club members like that are interested in STEM or interested in a specific department of STEM, or like maybe they want to see something on campus that has to deal with STEM, and then you can let us know, because we also need to hear about what they want and what they want to see.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great point. And like, cause you know, like you could argue like, oh, you know, we could do this at student government, like like we're doing right now, like having a discussion, but like at the same time, this is like pretty limited, like, you know, we only get limited floor time to discuss issues like this. Plus, not everybody always shows up.
Right.
So like if we had that student organization where we can like consistently communicate with one another and like organize larger events like that or spread awareness about each other's like ambitions,
Right.
it would just, I feel like it would be really beneficial for your club, for every club on
Right.
campus, really.
Yeah, a lot of students that would benefit from each club, because we also had earlier this year, like during October, I believe, oh no, November, sorry. It was November 8th, we took a couple of students over to Steelcase and we did a full tour and they got to network with people over there. And, you know, I feel like that a lot more students could have benefited from that event.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that was happening. So like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we try our best to, you know, push and let people know.
But there's only so much one club can do by themselves, you know?
Right.
Especially when you're busy with your schoolwork and like, you know, like a lot of the time it's only one person who like pushes the word out there, because it's like usually the secretary, but it's like there's only so much you can do by yourself.
Right, exactly. And, you know, not everyone is on campus, not everyone is looking at a flyer or like looking at the email. Sometimes just a simple conversation can let people into the community. So I completely agree with having a community, like, you know, community-based club or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And like another thing I thought of as well is like, because you know, obviously this student org, if we were to make it a student org, wouldn't require like tons of money and allocations. Like the one thing I would think is like maybe like we could have like $100 prize for whoever spreads the word the most about like other clubs. We could have like a system for tracking that. But I feel like that would be a great way to like incentivize, you know, getting students more involved on campus, just getting people to spread the love again. Like there's a lot of our clubs that like are not well known.
Yeah.
Looks like Sheena joined us online and has her hand raised. Did you have something?
Yes, I have a question. So if this was a whole nother organization, I guess coming from the budget standpoint, would I have to create a whole separate account? where would the funds come from for these events? I guess that would be a question I have.
I didn't save any of my piece in this, but Spencer brought this to me and I was really excited. I don't think the best avenue for it would be a club. I think, like you said, like the same idea, just not formalizing it as a club.
Okay.
Just having it be like an extension of student life in this capacity, to just collaborate and have it be student led. I'd love to support it from a student life perspective, and dream this up because we've tried to do similar efforts in other ways, but because I think students aren't involved in it, it doesn't stick. So yeah, I
Okay,
think,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I think this is great. I think it could take off if it's student led and instead of us trying to kind of fit it to what students might like or what's gonna work best for y'all.
Right. I mean,
And-
that's also.
And I
Sorry.
understand. I think I'm just coming from a funding standpoint because that is what my actual job is. Mind you, I look at 30 accounts plus the student life account. So I'm trying to figure out what would that look like? Because you said incentives. So that's going to mean that there has to be some funding. So I'm just trying to figure out that part because that would be another thing for me,
Right.
if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Like, as for, because you were talking about like the events, as for the actual events, that would come from like the actual like student, not the association's budget, if we were to have a budget, but like it would come from the individual student organizations who are participating and like hosting an event together. But like, as for the incentives, like what I was thinking is like, I could even like codify it into the constitution of that student organization so that like we can never request more than like a certain amount, like $100, say, for just like an incentive to like spread the word about other clubs.
Sheena, can I ask you, you say you're measuring or monitoring 30 different accounts.
Mhm.
Is there a cap on the number of clubs that we're allowed to have here at GRCC?
No, I never said that. I'm just saying,
I'm just asking, like, if we got 5 more clubs, you'd have 35 accounts then?
absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, I was just trying to put that in my head, like,
Yeah.
why are you using 30 different accounts? But that makes sense. So each club has its own account.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
then
I
on
think-
top of that, the student life has their, its own account. So I do look at a lot of budgets. So I'm just trying to figure out, would that mean that we have to ask for another account? What does that look like? I guess just on my end.
Yeah, I don't think we were that far along.
No, I think this is really to gain support and like have a meeting. Like I had asked Spencer to meet again early January to kind of get our heads together about it.
Okay. And I had no idea because I'm just now hearing about it. So that's why I was just like, oh, hold up. I didn't know there was another student organization happening, but okay.
Right now, it's very informal. Like we have a Discord group and we have like, I'm trying to get members to this Discord group so we can just like facilitate that communication and collaboration. As for the student organization idea, that's something I'm just floating. I think like, especially if we want this to take off and be student led, it makes sense to have it be a student organization. And again, we could, because I don't intend for this to be like an extra like thing where it's like we're requesting money constantly for these like events. Like it's mostly like the only thing I would be like, the only reason I'm floating this idea is like, for one, so we can reserve spaces to meet physically like every month or so. And for another, so we can have like, again, maybe like $100 to like spend on incentives, but like, if that were the case, again, I would codify it into the constitution of that organization so that we can never request more than that amount. But that's an idea I'm floating. I think it would be, again, a good way to encourage, if we want this to be student-led, to encourage students to participate in it.
Yeah, I think student gov is on board as well. Can I ask what other clubs are interested as well?
So we've had the Foreign Affairs Club express interest. We've had SACMAS express interest. I can't remember. Have you? Or no? Okay.
No, but I'm telling you now, we are.
Okay, awesome. We've had standout, the
Would be
RNG.
interested as well. International Language Club is really interested in this too.
Yeah, thank you. So we do have a decent amount of, there have been a few clubs that haven't gotten back to me yet, which I intend to reach out like at some other point. I don't know if like a lot of those emails are up to date either. So like, you know, I'm working with what I have on the Raider Connect website. But like, I feel like we've definitely had at least 6 or 7 clubs respond already with.
I think it's a great idea. I can't remember or recall getting that email, Spencer, but I would be absolutely thrilled to be involved with that and help out. Because I have thought the same thing for a very long time, that there's so many different orgs and almost like silos, if you will. Like we don't know about each other, but we know about ourselves. So
Yeah.
great idea. Great idea.
Yeah, I think.
You're welcome.
I think, because I saw your name on one of the organization's Raider Connect pages, but I think like my main thing was like I was just emailing like student leaders at the time. I would absolutely love to have, again, whatever support though, because like it seems like you're on board, so I appreciate that.
Yes, thumbs up.
I know when you emailed us, we did not receive a Discord link. I do have a Discord, so I can join if you would.
Yeah,
Or you could give me the code.
I could
Yeah, I
definitely.
would like to get that too, because I didn't get a Discord link at all.
Okay, I only recently started sending those out because I
Okay.
literally I just started it.
Right.
So I will give those to you by the end of this, meeting, and I think.
I will probably need another one because I somehow broke it.
How did you break this? That's fine, yeah, I can get you guys all some, and then you said you were interested as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
awesome.
and then apart from that, I think you mentioned it a couple town halls ago, how we want to get to know each other better.
Yeah, and that's part of what this is in response to as well, because like we all expressed an interest in like, you know, building a sort of like team mentality and like getting to know each other better. I think this would be just a great vessel for doing that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you gained a lot of new support here, so good job on that.
That's what I like to hear.
And I don't know if this is like a right or wrong, legal or illegal thing to do, but would like little dues come into play, like 50 cents or something to go into the pot for these things that you're talking about,
Oh, for like
the incentives?
We
Yeah.
we could discuss that. I mean, again, I would want to have everybody on board with something like that. And like, you know, that way it wouldn't pose too much extra work on Sheena either that way. So we could talk about something like that. I would prefer to not have students paying money when they're already kind of broke, you know, but 50 cents seems doable.
Yeah.
I would want to have a broader conversation about that.
Yeah. I just threw it out there because I didn't know if that's even, acceptable or not. So
It's definitely, as far as I know, it's legal to do. Like, there's like a whole
Okay.
section in the Constitution template that outlines, you know, dues and like what you can and can't do with that. So, yeah,
Okay.
we can definitely talk about that.
And I think if we were to have like a budget, maybe most, if not all of it, should be through fundraising.
Yeah,
Since it
yeah.
encourages collaboration.
that's true.
So
Definitely.
That's true. Yeah, we can, and you know, like since we have so many like clubs that like have things to offer for that fundraising, whether it's like, I mean, like Arts Club, for example, I know we have members that would have expressed interest in like, you know, hosting like an art shop sort of thing where they like sell their art. So, you know, maybe they get a certain percentage and then a certain percentage goes into the budget.
That's
But I
cool.
feel like, yeah, I feel like every club has something that they could offer for that. And again, like you were saying, it would really increase, just the whole collaboration between clubs.
Maybe we should have a club fundraising day for all the clubs. Everybody fundraisings.
I'd like that.
Be like a holiday market, but for clubs.
I've been dreaming
That'd be
about
awesome.
this.
That's cool too. Well, Ashley, was that Ashley?
Yeah,
That
this
said
has
that?
been in mind, just not been able to like lift it. So I like that there's support. There's support, there's
Yes,
help.
yes.
We can make it go.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So I guess my question would be like, would you prefer that I wait with like requesting it to be a student
Yeah,
organization?
let's talk more. Let's map it out together.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd be happy to like have Sheena, Alyssa, anyone here, anyone involved in the communication to be there. Let's dream it up.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome.
Mhm. But I don't think it's gonna happen this December.
Like, this is like something.
Yeah,
that I'm-
TikTok.
It's something
That's
that, something that I'm shoehorning in here at the last second, but like, you know, obviously this is gonna be a next semester thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing finals week right now. I don't think we're gonna be able to host any like revolutionary fundraisers or anything like that, so.
I think it's worth noting that we don't have to start a club to get together with people on campus and do things.
Right,
We could just plan a meeting for clubs and invite everybody. It's-
true.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's be better to get this going as an organization, but if what you really want is just to get together with the other clubs, leaders, you can do that.
That's true, that's true. I guess my feeling was just like, you know, again, for one thing, it would give us visibility on Raider Connect, which is like, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe that's not like super important because not a lot of people use Raider Connect to begin
The
with.
people who are in clubs.
Yeah. But like, you know, it would also, unless there's another way to do this, it would also ensure like we could request like rooms to meet in like monthly and like, again, the whole budget thing, like potentially having like a very limited budget, but a budget nonetheless. So, those are really my main, excuse me, my main like reasons for wanting that. Plus, like we would need like, you know, at least I think like for organization purposes, it would help to have like a constitution of sorts. So that way, like for the very limited duties we would have, like there would be like maybe a group of people who would like figure out what everybody's club schedules are, like what upcoming events are, and then announce that and like, you know, facilitate discussion around that. That like, it would be like a very limited structure, but like, I guess my thinking, unless there's a different way to do this, like, is that a student organization would be the most effective way to do something like that.
Perhaps. I guess my concern is that if you are trying to get all the leaders of the clubs together to start a club, and you can only be the leader of one club,
True.
so.
Well, we're gonna talk it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't, I wanna hold some of that because I wanna map it out and I
Yeah.
want people at the table.
Okay,
Yeah. It's great.
But I
Yeah.
love the idea of having like more conversations with clubs and more involvement, cross pollination, not have 3 events all at the same time.
yeah,
For sure.
Wonderful to figure all that out.
absolutely. And yeah, I mean, like in the
I
meantime.
agree, Nick.
In the meantime, I'll definitely give you guys, like, whoever I haven't given the Discord group link or whoever's broken it, like, I'll be giving you guys the link again so that we can like have that at least like, you know, digital place where we can all get together and like discuss these things.
If everyone has like Discord on their phones, we can like just give us the QR code and we can scan it or something after the meeting or something.
So I don't know how to transform it into a QR code. Is there like a thing that
I think it's already in the app that
Okay.
you just like show the QR code.
if that's the case, I'll do that, but otherwise I'll just like give you the link and then like make sure that you guys can actually get into the group. 'Cause-
Yeah.
But cool. I'm glad to have you guys support. I'm glad there's excitement around this because you know again, I feel it's something we're really lacking, so.
One of the pieces of feedback that we got on like how can student government improve was like be more relaxed and less professional. It's hard to be less professional and
When you don't really know each other.
well, yeah, and like this, the purpose of this meeting is for like club allocations and stuff, so it's hard to be less professional. But it would be great to have an environment that was less professional, so there wasn't that expectation of there's work to be done in this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. We could literally like just, have days where we all just hang out. I mean, like, I feel like that would be really cool. Like, again, I see you guys a lot, but I don't really know you that well. So like, that would just be, I don't know, I think it would be a really cool way to just like get to know other people who are involved on campus and who are doing similar things to us. And make some new friends,
It's worth noting that GRCC Police Chief Rebecca Whitman was supposed to join us today. But she had previously told us that she would come to this meeting unless something prevented her from coming. So let's just hope that nothing major has prevented Rebecca Whitman from coming, and we will look to have the conversation on student safety next semester. Are there more public comments that would be like to be made? You joined us late. Do you have anything to?
Nope, not really. My class just got out, in November, so.
Thanks for stopping in. Everybody can grab some
I have one
snacks.
comment, Nick.
Yeah,
I just
Ken,
want
go.
to say to you, I wanted to say to you and Alex and Ashley, you guys have done a really great job holding these meetings, leading the meetings, keeping everybody, on track. So I just wanted to throw that out there and say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So with that being said, we can adjourn our final town hall of this semester. Thank you, Sharlita, Michaela, Spencer. What was your name again? I'm
David.
sorry, David?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Blaze, Kevin, Ashley, all for being here. Very big thanks to Spencer and Sharlita. You guys have been here since the beginning. 2 hours each Monday. So thank you and happy holidays. Oh, and thank you, Ashpreet and Kim, Sheena and Alyssa. But yes, a big thank you overall.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's crazy though. This semester really flew by. Like,